is my dad's channel, Philly 500, but I just want to ask you guys if you can ask him if I can have a new Hatchimal. I said now!
Hey yo everybody, how you doing? So I've had a lot of requests of late for hockey videos, for videos on the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, one thing with Flyer fans is they're more delusional than a lot of Eagle fans. They think that the team does everything right all the time, no matter what. Now, this couldn't be further from the truth, but there's a reason for that. The Flyers have tried in the past. The Flyers have really tried to win the Cup. But the Flyers are also their biggest enemy. The reason why the Flyers haven't won the Cup is because they've ignored goaltending. They've ignored goaltending for like 25, 30 years. When Ron Hextall left the first time, they did nothing to replace him. When they had Eric Lindros and John LeClair, and they were starting to compete against guys like Martin Brodeur and Hasek, the Flyers, in an era where there was no salary cap, ignored goaltending. They ignored guys like Ed Belfour, who became a free agent. They had Hobby Bullen, who they could have gotten, that they made no effort to get. They didn't go out and get guys like Curtis Joseph, and these guys who were ready, that could have stepped in and won them cups. Now, there was always a argument that, well, goaltending isn't that important of a position because, you know, look at Detroit. Detroit's winning all these cups and they've got Mike Vernon and they got Chris Osgood. Well, those guys were good. They were very underrated goaltenders and they were good. And that is the bogus of bogus arguments. You have to have a goalie in hockey. You do. You might not have the greatest goaltender, but he gets hot in the playoffs or he's clutch or whatever. But the Flyers have had neither. They've invested in older guys, average guys, mediocre guys. Okay? And this has been the reason and the single downfall for why the Flyers haven't won a cup. When they were in the cup the last time, look at the goaltending they got. It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing and it cost them the series. And if they would have just had an average goaltender, they would have won that cup, okay? And against the Detroit Red Wings, they were switching the goalies out in the finals. It was Hextall and Snow, and they would rotate it. It was the most stupidest thing I've ever seen. The Flyers have ignored goaltending, and I don't know why, because Bob Clark doesn't, he won a cup, he had Bernie Prant. But the Flyers have ignored goaltending way too long. And to this day, they still ignore it. And it got to the point a few years ago where they had no goaltenders in their farm system at all. To me, goaltending is the second most important position in all of sports behind a quarterback. The goaltender is the only guy that's on the ice the whole game. He's the guy that can steal a game, he can switch a game around, he can hide your deficiencies on defense. A goalie is important, and this is why the Flyers haven't won. Now, I can't talk about the Flyers at all until I address this reason why I'm pissed off at the Flyers, why they have frustrated me over the years so bad. They've ignored goalie, and they've allowed teams like Buffalo, New Jersey, Florida Panthers to beat them by having better goaltending and neutralizing the talent the Flyers had. That's my thoughts. Take care. Talk to you later. Don't be a dingbat.